Hello, this is Musings with Mookie. And it's episode 14, and I'm here to talk about limitations. Well, muse on limitations anyway. I'm sitting in my closet, sitting in my closet on the floor. Um, I have the fan going in my bathroom because recently I had water pouring through my ceiling because water leaked into my HVAC's duct from the drip pan, and it seems an odd way to set up the AC where the drip pan can in some way leak into the duct. That duct filled with water, and somehow in part of the duct there was a hole. I don't have rodents in my house. I've never seen a mouse. There's no animal droppings in my attic. I go up there frequently. But it's going to cut into a large part of my household budget. It's very unforeseen. And so re-recording this episode of Limitations, it seems almost fated. The previous one that I recorded, because my musings are rather a free flow of ideas that I intend to stay on topic, something that's not uniform or planned can and does have just sporadic views, and so, or sidebars of conversations that sneak in based on my emotional availability to my topic. I would say my emotional availability to this topic is low. So yes, I have come into a limitation with my AC that it can only run for a period of time at a much higher temp than I usually have it, around 83 degrees, to mitigate some of the water going into the drip pan that then proceeds to flow into the duct that pushes the air through the house. When this happened earlier this week, it was quite daunting. It's still daunting. Really caused me to have a low-key panic attack. But that's not what my limitations were intended, what my conversation, or my musings rather, on limitations was supposed to go. But here we are. I'm being told that I'm extremely strong with a series of unfortunate events that have come into my life. I don't want to use plagued my life because plague is such a large-scale thing to me. Like learning about the Black Plague in middle school, and then continuing that conversation at different parts in history class in high school. The Black Plague was something serious. Plagues in themselves are serious. Plagues in the Bible are serious, and other. I don't know much about other religious or spiritual texts when it comes to plagues, but plagues are a big thing. So I don't want to say that this HVAC thing is plaguing my life, but it's definitely an interruption and is a limitation. And about this limitation, it's temporary. We're faced with lots. We come into contact with lots of temporary limitations. We have permanent limitations, but most of the limitations that we come in contact with are temporary. Permanent limitations, we don't think about them because there's nothing we can do about them. If we go over and thought about the limitations in our life, we find that most of them are temporary. we in certain conversations there is a phrase called limiting factors. What limits us to in completing this project? Can we get around those limits? And if we can, how long will it take? Let's say I want to build, I want to paint a shed. What are my limiting factors in painting a shed? First off, are the supplies available? Can I get the supplies? And in that, we start to figure out our limitations. Maybe our limitations now turn into time or availability of funds in painting the shed. Do I have the time to paint the shed? I want to do it this weekend, but I can't. That is a temporary limiting factor, because I have time to do it later in the month. So there's plenty of temporary limiting factors. For a child, a baby, they first must learn to pull themselves up before they can walk. Their limiting factor is temporary, is time. I want to also go back to another cast that I did where I talked about Icarus. When I mused on Icarus, but I was musing on a poem that I wrote, and how we can have limiting mindsets. How when I wrote in my poem that Icarus would be jealous of our fall, Icarus has seen that we had reached space. We had ascended above and past the sun. That we had went well beyond where he had went, and that was he reached the sun, which was above the clouds. Some people believe that Icarus only reached into the sky, where I believe that Icarus actually reached the sun, and once he did, that is when the wax melted. I don't have this limiting belief that, even though I come off, it may seem as heartbroken in this matter, I don't believe it won't be solved. I am not hopeless. Do your limitations that you may have put on yourself seem devoid of hope? That as Icarus toyed away at creating the wings that enabled him to reach the sun, he saw the sun. And I want you to understand that we all see the sun, but Icarus saw the sun. He reached the full heat of the sun. He ascended into and past the clouds. Do your limitations have you devoid of hope? Can you see the reality but still see past it to know that you will achieve all that you have hoped for? Maybe not in the same way. Do you have limiting beliefs that keep you from moving forward? I can't do it this weekend, so I won't do it, or it won't get done. Those are limiting beliefs that turn into limiting factors. Not all beliefs are real. Factors you can actually put your hands on. time is something you can put your hands on. And if you're not deceased, don't let your limiting beliefs stop you from achieving. Thank you for listening. This has been Musings with Mookie. I'm going to post this today, whatever today that is. I hope that we together move forward in this world without relying on our limiting beliefs. And I'll talk to you another time. Ciao. Bye.